That's what I do, like crack.
Why did you ask me to come here?
Because, you know,
Cause what?
we always drift towards...
I value.
16 carriages driving away one.
All I ever see it says,
Just what? Good vibes?
then I know,
Some
right?
type of energy?
Then I know,
Some
right?
kind of chemistry?
Maybe.
You're such a charmer boy, you know that. You know, right? Supposed to be.
And you're fighting me today, I can see it.
I'm not.
Yo.
I'm not.
I can imagine from the rest of the guys how this must look, especially since Diamond is not here at the moment. And it almost looks opportunistic.
Does that bother you?
No.
There's nothing like that. I told you, there's nothing like intimacy between men and that.
And like I said, I don't know what this is, so I'm just trying to figure it out.
2 hours in town just for one night. And I'm going to take this opportunity to finally talk to him man to man. But I also need to know if they're making free.
Good morning,
What's the
precious. How you doing, baby? Happy Thursday. And today on Coffee and Conversation with your girl, Shakenya. When you get a minute, go to that YouTube channel, Shakenya, and hit subscribe, guys. Look at some of the videos. And if you see anything that you like, just hit share, people. It's not hard to do. Yep. I know, starting off a little slow today, y'all. I got a lot going on. But you know I always make time for you. Coffee and Conversation in the morning. I know. Oh, I hope this don't fall. Let me bring it in some. It looked like it was just about to. Okay, guys. We here. Class, everybody's here. Raise your hand when I say your name. So, y'all, today, I'm going to be honest with you. It was hard to come to y'all today. I know it was hard to come to y'all. I know, because the message I was trying to deliver, I couldn't sleep last night. But it was hard for me to put it in words so you will understand, right? I know. And before we get started, guys, let me just give you a brief of me and my, I guess, life. I don't know. History. Work history. Let's start with that. First job was at this little nursing home. I did nursing assistant. Then after that, I started at Receiving Hospital, customer service. I was there for almost 11 years. Left there, went to, I believe I went to Matrix, Head Start, as a family service worker. Left Matrix and went to, I worked with a group home for a minute. I hate talking about them, yeah, because the wife let me go for nothing. You know what I mean? You had me all wrapped up into this job a few months in or whatever. I should have known from the first interview, the red flags. Hey, James should have came up. Yeah, because she was like, oh, I seen you on Channel 2. So she had seen the interview for the youth program. But you can tell the way she said it. She was just waiting to stick it to me. Yeah, she did. She waited right until both my girls were about to graduate. One was graduating high school. One was going to high school. And she cut me. Yeah, so I don't talk about that too much, but it was some experience there. I worked with children aging out of foster care. And so going to courts with them and advocating for them, reuniting them with their parents, you know. So it was nice. The experience I had was nice. And then from there, I was with Orchard Children's Services, so I've worked with foster care families and children for a minute. Yeah, so that's then my youth program, Attitude Adjustment. I've been dealing with families for over 20 years. I deal with children with behavior issues. Yeah, so my whole life has been dedicated to working with families. Either a family advocate, program director for my own program. It's just, this is what I do. This is my life, right? And I love it. I love it. I love it. So just so you will be okay, I had to just throw that out there just so you can be okay with listening and taking some of my advice. Not only with the youth program, but by having the youth program, we have the family meetings. I get in depth with the family as a whole. What's going on? What y'all doing? Why does baby acting like that? So I get kind of all up in your business, right? So imagine me being all up in everybody's business. All these peoples that I serviced, all these families that I've dealt with, all of this stuff. So I've seen a lot, dealt with a lot. So today we're going to dip into my psychological damage. And by me doing and working these jobs that I've worked, the people that I've encountered mothers that were in prison for damn near their kids' whole span. I know mamas that had babies in jail and the kids was raised by somebody on the outside, but yet and still this mother still has a good relationship with her child. How that happened, I don't know. Well, let me tell you how it happened. It's because it was family and people around and in their life that was always telling this child to love and respect your mother. That's it. So yeah, I know parents that's been locked up. I know mothers that have slept with the same dude as their child. Yeah, and if you think about the professions I just told you, if you think I'm talking about you, if you've been in a situation, I'm probably not, because I've dealt with so many families that had this occurrence. Either the mother and daughter were dating the same guy, or the mother's boyfriend was molesting the child. Either way it go, they was both sleeping with the same person, right? But they have a good relationship with their child. Yep. I know mothers whose mothers raised their children. Meaning they weren't there to get them up in the morning. They weren't there to cook the meals. They popped in when they felt like it. They basically lived their own life without their children, and their mothers raised their children. But yet and still, they still have good relationships with their children. I have friends and family and people that I know personally whose parents were very abusive to them. Beating them, talking to them any kind of way, talking down to them. But yet and still, as adults, they have good relationships with their, even if they still mad and haven't forgiven them for everything. It's still certain lines, like I told you yesterday, that you're not going to cross when it comes to kids. So today we're talking about psychological damage, and these are some of the things that's contributing to mine. Yeah, so we're going to go with my wall a little bit here, just to give you an extra sense of security of why it's okay to listen to me and why I'm qualified to say some of the things that I say to you. Because somebody mentioned the other day, I was in conversation and they made a comment, yeah, you be on every day. But the way they said it was if I say, like I'm on here and not knowing what I'm talking about, right? This is what I do. This is what I get paid to do, right? So this certificate right there is Critical Incident Stress Management Group Crisis Intervention. I went to a class to learn a little bit more about that. Yeah. That one up there says Children Mental Health Ground Round Trainings for Adolescent Substance Abuse Use. Yeah, that's so I'm qualified to talk to children about drugs. You already know this certificate was for just corporate etiquette, professionalism, things of that nature. I know you can't see Facebook, so I got to Facebook can't see, so I got to let them see. Yeah, that one was for the etiquette. Yeah, this one was for a Head Start certificate when I was working for Head Start. You already know that's my bachelor's right there. Yep, I went to University of Phoenix. I did. Excuse my desk, guys. Facebook. Yeah. That one up there is for job readiness, meaning I can teach you how to get a job. Yeah. Customer service, of course. That one over there in the corner is from the Department of Justice, the Detroit Division. Can you see it over there in the corner? I'm trying to let y'all see it, yeah, because I want y'all to feel confident when you take advice from me and when you listen to me. Yep, that one in the corner. Customer service at the bottom. That got something to do with kids and mental health. Yep, children's mental health ground, domestic violence. Yeah, I got a certificate. And this one right here is from the Youth Deterrent Program. They gave me an award. So yeah, guys, it's the stuff on here is because I went to school and class and trainings for a lot of this stuff I talked to y'all about, right? Not to mention my own personal life, right? So hands-on experience, right? Okay, so it's going to be a long one today. We're talking about the manipulation tips that can turn a good parent bad. Yeah, remember the other day we talked about all the stuff that you can do, the psychological damage. Here it is, me. I was a parent that attended parent-teacher conferences, took the kids to school, picked them up, took them to practice, had them with me all the time, had them involved in everything I was doing. I was hands-on with the kids to where they turned me into an absent parent. absent, ain't seen my baby, don't have no relationship. All my kids is just all in a disarray. Everything is just upside down in my world. Everything is upside down. Everything is backwards. Yeah, my world, you would not want to be here. You wouldn't want to be here. It's a mess. It's a mess. It's all over the place, right? Yeah, that's my psychological damage. So that's what we're talking about today, guys. We're talking about the manipulation tips. We talked about the adverse effect that these manipulation tips have on your children over time if you continue to do them. And we talked about the psychological damage that's caused as when a parent removes a child from another parent and a family and there's no abuse or neglect. I know, you would think to yourself, why would a parent even do that? If there's no abuse or neglect, why would they go so hard? Why would they do so much to try to remove a child from a parent or change this child's perspective of this parent and change how this child feels about this parent? I don't understand why there's nothing for me. Everything that I thought that my kids knew or possibly knew about me and as a parent and how to treat all that stopped. So when I have the youth program and we have the family meeting, I always try to go back to try to figure out what happened, what went wrong, what broke this baby, right? So I use that same narrative with my story to find out when did everything go wrong. And it was right when the baby left. So although we went through our own issues these last 5 years, everybody dealt with their own struggles and going through what they're going through. It's a chance that they could have been going through it anyway. But in my eyes, everything happened after the baby left. Like everything was good until then, right? So a lot of my damage comes from me loving being a mom. It's the greatest joy. It's the best job. Yep. I love children. Even if they're not mine. I love kids, period. I just love children. I love to see them grow, develop. I just love children. Oh, thank you, Meldrums. How you doing, boo-boo? And I'm in love with my own children. Like literally in love with them. Like I was there with them every step of the way. Like I love and in love with my children. I practice the P's of parenting, which is planning. You got to have a plan for these kids, right? Then you got to practice prevention with the children. You want to prevent certain things from happening, right? And then you got to be prepared for certain things as a parent, right? That means read books if need be. So I had a plan to keep the boys out of jail and keep the girls off the pole. Yeah, my whole life was structured in parenting to do those two things. I know. So you got to keep the kids busy. So I did that. Whether they was working with me or whether I had them working and playing, I encouraged them to be kids, right? So they had their childhood. They was playing. They had a good childhood, I would say. I was keen on discipline. Everybody knows that, right? I keep them out of trouble. I kept them out of trouble. Yeah. Everything that needs to be done as it relates to keeping kids out of trouble, from administering discipline to beating their ass every time something happened and they weren't, or them doing something they ain't supposed to be doing. Yep. I believe in that. Yep. Pop, real quick. Choke you up real quick in your stomach real quick. Yeah, I know that sounds bad. So Shakenya, that's why everything going the way it's going, because you was over there. They only got discipline when they did something wrong. And I'm gonna be honest with you, they barely did something wrong. The only person I had to really get in their ass was Jeremy. And I had to stay on his neck because a child that misbehaves can influence the other children. Yeah. So if the child is still in your home and they acting out, you can at least administer discipline and constantly repeat the consequences of their actions. But definitely if the children see you administering discipline on this one, they at least know that's not a good thing to do. So even though that child that's misbehaving can encourage those other children, some of those children gonna click on it and be like, no, because you getting your ass whipped for doing that. So But it's still a good chance that they can influence if you let them get away with anything, right? So that was the only time. Yeah, that was the only time. So keeping them out of trouble. I kept the girls with me. Yeah, so if I was working on a project, if I was doing anything, if they was out of school and they weren't in practice, I would keep them with me. Yeah, that's a good way to keep them out of trouble. Like, they're going to find a way. Kids going to find a way, boys and girls. They're going to find a way to do what they're going to do, right? I don't care how much prevention. I don't care how much preparation. I don't care how much you do. They're going to find a way to do what they're going to do, right? But if you keep them with you and you watch them, yeah, it's a good chance So I made it exciting. You know what I mean? We worked together. I didn't have no problems with them, and I felt like teaching them how to work and earn their own money is teaching them how to be independent. Like I said, I wanted my children to be in my likeness, especially my girls. So to teach them independence is more than just teaching them to get a job and earn some money. It's teaching them how to take care of themselves, right? And in the midst of that, we have to make sure there's a balance there, right? I never wanted my girls to feel like, oh, I'm so independent, I don't need no man. No, that's not it. But I want you to be independent in the sense of if you ever find yourself alone and by yourself, you're able to take care of yourself. Because if you have a partner, of course, he's going to help. He's going to do what he can to take care of you. I'm quite sure. You know what I mean? But in the most part, you will know how to take care of yourself if you ever find yourself alone. So teaching them how to work, good work ethic, making money on their own was very important, right? We was working on a trailer for the book. Dysfunctional Family Knot. Make sure y'all get you a copy. Go to Lulu Publishing and go to Amazon. It's loosely about my life. A lot of the stuff that I talk about here on Coffee and Conversation is actually in the book. Yeah. And so having them on the show, just keeping them busy, working on the trailer, in the radio, everything I'm doing that y'all see me popping around doing, if the girls were out of school, if they were out, they was with me, right? Kennedy was actually filming the parts of the trailer. She was the one behind the camera. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. So I did so much to prevent all the things that I'm dealing with right now. All the things that I tried to shelter them from, they got exposed to it anyway. Just because of these manipulation tips. Me and the baby daddy not being on the same page. Because there is no way I can do all of this and everything that I've ever done and end up with nothing. And when I say nothing, that means no relationship whatsoever. I ain't heard my child's voice. I ain't seen her face. I'm still going through issues with my other children. There is no way for me to have done all of this stuff. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. So keeping them busy, to be honest with you, for the girls, that prevents pregnancy. So if you're a parent like me and you're trying to break that generational curse of having children at 17, having a kid at 17, your mama had you at 17, you had your first child at 17. If you want to break that generational curse, keep your babies busy, keep them with you. That's what I did. I think it helped because they didn't have children at 17 like I did. So that was one generational curse that I broke, right? Teaching them the consequences of their actions. Hopefully that was enough to keep the boys and keep them out of trouble, and me having a youth program and doing jail tours definitely helped. I know. So with the jobs I've held, the youth program where I'm dealing with families, there is no way I should have issues with my family and my kids. There is no way, right? So getting caught, hopefully they would not. Yeah, so the fact that I was so keen on discipline and I believe in prevention, so you discipline them, you're going to prevent them from getting into any trouble, right? That also should draw a picture of respect within that. Respect. And also, it should cause the kids, it should be a line. Like the fact that they wouldn't cross me as a fact that they know I don't take no mess, right? I instilled that early. So that's why I say you can't go back with parenting. You can't go back with your kids. If you didn't instill a lot of stuff early in the game, you ain't going to get it through now. And if you have a situation where it was instilled early and now you having problems, it's something going on there. That's sketchy. That's sketchy because, it shouldn't be, right? So I was prepared for a lot of stuff. I was prepared for the terrible twos, right? I was prepared for the challenges that I'm going to face through adolescent years. Why I purposely, mainly because the boys had got me prepared, because I had raised 3 boys by the time the girls came aboard. So all that experience of parenting that I had encountered over the years, that'll be one thing. So with the girls, by me being a girl, fix it, Jesus. I was more in tune to whatever it is they was going to try to take me through or go through, right? So I was prepared for that. Yeah, that era when they say the girls smelling themselves, the kids smelling themselves, I was prepared for that. So to be honest with you, we bypassed all that. I didn't have no issues with them going past. And that's not to say that my children were perfect and they didn't give me any problems. No, I'm not saying that, but it was minimal. It was very minimal. The baby, I ain't have to whoop at all. Because when Kennedy shared my oldest shared her story about me taking her to Vista Maria, that helped instill that little discipline of, mama don't play, right? So if you having problems with your children now that they're adults, ain't no fight there. Just pack it up, bag it out. Yeah, I ain't about to go toe-to-toe with you. I ain't about to go back and forth with you. That's definitely ain't about to try to put my hands on you. Now, all them days is over. If what I did not instill something for a child to respect me, a child to be in my life, a child to love me and treat me like a mom, I can't go backwards. And I'm not going to go backwards, right? Because I did too much work, too much groundwork, too much footwork, too much hands-on. Yeah, Yeah, so we breezed through all that. Yeah, we was good. Everything was going according to plan. My system was working. We was working together. They had fed into that whole thing of me saying we're going to be rich and famous once we work this business and grow this business and get people to work for us, and we was gonna be okay. Yeah, so I sold this dream, so we was doing good. Yeah, we was working together. Everybody was seemed like they was enjoying life. It didn't seem like nobody was miserable. It didn't seem like nobody was dealing with depression or any of those things. So whatever struggles they had, I didn't see them. And I would have, because that's what I do. I would have seen it, right? I would have seen it. So everybody was doing what they were supposed to do. Remember yesterday we talked about what the kids supposed to do? Everybody was doing what they were supposed to do. My world was perfect. It was intact. Everybody was on board. Everybody was okay. Fix it, Jesus. Son was out on his own, taking care of his family. Yeah. Jay was on his own, had his own house and working. And yeah, because that's what happens. When you raise them how you're supposed to raise them, they get out on their own. They take care of themselves. You don't have to worry about them as much. They check in with you every now and then. If they need you, they reach out for you. And if you there to help. But other than that, they on their own because you instilled so much in them as a child to where now that they're adults, they good. They moving. Yeah. The oldest she was in a nursing program. We have been talking about nursing ever since she was little. So I helped her formulate that plan, helped encourage her to make sure she followed through. She followed through. She was actually in the nursing program and she was happy. The baby was going to her 11th grade at Cass. I know. I'm just bringing you into my world so you can understand my psychological damage. Yeah, because I've been talking about the kids and relationships. So what best person to use than me and my story, right? So now that you follow along, you're starting to feel a little bit how I'm feeling. Now you're starting to see a little bit what I see. Now now you're there. Because there is no way, if it wasn't manipulation involved coming from another party, that if I'm doing all this as a mom, everything is going and working, that I would end up here. Yeah, I miss all that. I miss being a mom. Because when I do my timeline and go back after the baby was taken out, yeah, being a mom sort of got missed. It's backwards, the way people see it, the way they see me. Like everything is all misconstrued. I miss hearing my baby say she loved me and she missed me. I miss hearing the kids say that often. They used to say it often. They used to say they love me. I miss being a mom. That's all I can tell you, right? So for me not to have failed them in the sense of I ain't did nothing that bad. Yeah, because you got to go back as a parent. Because people are like, you ain't did everything. You ain't perfect. No, I'm not. But I did a lot as a parent. I did a lot. So didn't fail them in a sense of my situation to be like this. Yeah. I played the apology game with them. So that means I didn't allow things to fester. Any problems that we had, I didn't allow it. So anything that I did wrong, I know how to hold myself accountable. You got to look at yourself first when things happen, right? Because when you point the finger at somebody else, how many of them is pointing back at you, right? So I've always been like that since I was a kid. Always felt like that since I was a kid. Always took accountability ever since I was a kid, right? I was the grandma in the pack. I know. It is what it is, right? And I'm okay with that. Yeah, so, yeah, I have no problem doing that. But you know what I do? Because I hate being wrong and I hate holding myself accountable. I make sure I do stuff right the first time. I practice every day to be perfect. Those two things right there, it'll give the illusion as if you are perfect. Or the illusion that you think you know everything. Or the illusion. And it's not that. It's just I know what I'm talking about when I talk to you. Like if it's a situation or a conversation where I don't know nothing about what's going on, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But if I'm speaking to you, it's because I know. Right? So it's rare that you're going to catch me up in some stuff. It's rare that you're going to make me look stupid. It's rare that you're going to make me feel like I got to bow down and be held accountable. No, because I apologize along the way. Anything I do wrong, any miscommunications, and I try to apologize along the way. Because I don't believe in things festering and growing. Yeah, you nip it in the bud. You take care of it right. Yeah, so play the apology game, right? I checked in with my kids to see if I'm doing a good job. Remember when I told you how you know you're a good parent? Check in with your kids. Let them tell you if you're a good parent or not. I checked in. So you can't tell me all this that I did. And then on top of apologizing to them for things I did wrong, checking in with them to see if I'm a good parent, did all these things. How could I have failed them? How could nothing be going right now? How could my relationships be torn and tattered? How can things be misconstrued and such a misunderstanding and there's nothing for me as a mother? Somebody told me that you think you're entitled because you're a mom. Hell yeah. That's the whole thing about being a mom. The entitlement of it all. Right? So for somebody to say that to me, it lets me know how backwards thinking they have become. And that means somebody has brainwashed them. And typically, if it's somebody that's brainwashing them, it's somebody that don't like me. So that means you playing both sides from the middle. At some point, you got to make a choice. And these are the positions that we put the children in. I know I'm talking about my psychological damage, but I'm letting you know if you have other children involved, when you remove a child and there is no abuse or neglect, how it affects the other children and how they think if they still have a connection with that child that has been removed. I know. I have encouraged y'all to do so. I know. I've encouraged you to encourage that relationship regardless of how the outcome is. The outcome is they can either bring the child closer to you or they can push that child further apart and go with that child. And you can lose 2 kids. Either way it goes, it's a gamble when y'all not working together and on the same page. I know it's a long one. I'm finishing up. So to figure out this is my damage, this is my psychological damage, because I know how this is all going to end. And it's a tragic ending. Right? So for me to do so much and do everything that I did to secure a happy ending for me and my family, for it to end up like this and be tragic, yeah, I know. It's a lot. So that's my psychological damage. That's what I got to deal with. I got to deal with the fact of why my situation is so tragic, considering I did everything to create a happy ending. So y'all, that's it for Coffee and Conversation with your girl, Shakenya. I'm out Facebook. Mwah.